Welcome to the CB Cowgirls podcast, where rodeo roots run deep. We invite you to grab a cup of coffee and come to the table as we visit about all things rodeo and the Western lifestyle. Today's episode is a collaboration with the Columbia River Circuit and brought to you by Ram Trucks, built for the unexpected, Les Schwab Tires, where safety is number one, and Legends Casino in Toppenish, Washington, where you win, relax, repeat. Happy Friday, everybody. It's Becky Mapston, your host for the CB Cowgirls podcast. I hope this morning is starting out great for you. I hope you guys all have some fun plans this weekend. It's St. Patrick's Day, so happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. You know, can you believe it's already the middle of March? We are at March 15th, halfway through the month and headed into a rodeo season. I am so excited. I love rodeo in the Northwest. I just believe, have some of the best rodeos. They really have just been around for such a long time, and they have great fan base, great contestants, great venues. I'm just excited to be part of the Columbia River Circuit. So next week, Ram National Circuit Finals. It just blows my mind. It really does. We were just in Vegas doing the National Finals Rodeo. We've had Denver. We've had these rodeos down in the South. The American just finished up, and now we're headed to Kissimmee for the Ram National Circuit Finals. We've got a great team. So I'm really excited about that. And I caught up with one of those team members heading to Kissimmee earlier this week, and I wanted to bring this interview to you just because I really think it's important that we get an opportunity as fans of rodeo, fans of the Columbia River Circuit, and fans of the Northwest to learn a little bit more about those that are making rodeo what it is today. So sit back and enjoy as we visit with PRCA header Brooks Dahozy. Brooks, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, ma'am. I'm doing really good, actually, today.
Brooks, you are headed to the 2019 Ram Circuit Finals here just in about a week, and you are one of our Circuit Cowboys up in the Northwest, but you didn't always live in the Northwest. Tell us a little bit about your background and where you grew up.
Well, I grew up in a little town called Window Rock, Arizona, on my parents' ranch, and I've hung out down in Arizona a little bit. I could just never get to enough circuit rodeos because I kind of hung around Montana a little bit, and I kind of ventured to the Northwest, and I liked it over there quite a bit, just all the rodeos and stuff, and just how close they were, and how many I could go to during the week, and so I just kind of, I just changed circuits, and I had some family in the Northwest, so then I just kind of started to go there, and ever since then I just kind of been a Columbia River Circuit Cowboy for the last, probably 3 years.
Okay.
And I think I declared it a couple years before that, 2 or 3 times, but I've always switched around between there and Montana quite a bit.
Speaking of that, you have been, your rookie year in the PRCA was 2010, correct? And you finished in 3rd place in the standings?
Yes, ma'am.
You were obviously roping before you got into entered into the PRCA as a rookie. Did you rope in high school? Did you rope in college? Or did you just pick team roping up? Did you do other events? Talk about a little bit before entering that, because I know you had a pretty special title that you won in 2009. Oh
yes, I grew up through the junior rodeo ranks and all the U.S. CRC, and I went to the Indian rodeos for a very long time, and I bought my permit, I think it was 2007, and I was like 18 or 19, I tried to win a rodeo a couple of times, and I didn't know how to go about it, so I kind of had to back off, and I went back to the Indian rodeos, and a friend of mine kind of helped me, kind of showed me how to rodeo just a little better, and then I ended up winning the Indian finals back in 2009, and I figured that was a pretty good stepping stone for me to kind of go back out there. I kind of had an idea how to go about it and where the rodeos were, and I tried back in 2010, and I pretty much had my card ever since.
Your win in 2009 and heading into the PRCA and not looking back, who would you say, as you came up the ranks from team roping, who one of your biggest influences were?
One of my best friends, his name is Preston Williams. He's probably about, about 10 years older than I was. He kind of got to go. He's like the world's greatest roper. And the first time I ever got to rope with the BFI was with him, and he showed me a bit and showed me how to go about it, and that really helped me for pretty much the rest of my life, because there's things I still don't know, and I still call him, and he'll kind of help me through things, and he was kind of he's one of my biggest help, just starting my PRCA career.
You got to have those. You got to have those mentors and those people that are on your side and in your corner that you can turn to on your good days and your bad, because that's really what helps build you up and keep you going, win, lose, or draw.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Have you always just team roped, or have you done any other events growing up?
I did a little calf roping. I still rope calves from time to time. I just don't rope a whole lot of calves, but sometimes I do at the Indian rodeos when they're giving like a good all around away, all for things, or put my name down. But other than that, I just kind of team rope. I head at the rodeos, and when I go to the World Series ropings and stuff like that, I heel quite a bit, and so I kind of.
Which do you like better?
Honestly, when I was growing up, I wanted to be a healer all my life, and I could never get the good headers. And one day I went to a rodeo, an Indian rodeo, and me and my friend Preston, actually, we all had the same partner, and the guy didn't show up. So he's like, "What do you want to do? Do you want to head or heel?" I said, "You know what? I'm going to head for you today." He's like, "You sure you want to head?" I'm like, "Yeah." So we went third in the first round, come back in the short round later that day, and we had a steer that run pretty hard, and I ran right to him, and I just turned to win. I went I think third all the way across the board, and afterwards he's like, most people are not smart like that. He's like, for young guys like you, normally a guy would try to reach and win the round or do something crazy. He's like, smart right there. He's like, why don't you start heading? He's like, I said, you know what? I never really thought about it. I said, I think about it a little bit just from time to time. He's like, you know what? He's like, let's rope here and there. I was like, all right, let's try it. And I just couldn't believe how much different it was for me being a header, keeping money in my pocket. All I had to do was just turn my cows for a good partner, and I was struggling with headers at the time, so I became a header. And at heart, I'm still a healer. I heal at all the jackpots and stuff like that. But
in your free time.
Yes, my heading career is way different.
Business decision.
Yeah, it's a really great business decision for me. There's still times I want to heal, but there's hardly any headers, and I've worked at it so hard to this point that I don't think. I mean, there's days I get frustrated and I want to heal, but then I sit there and think about it again. There's not enough headers in the Northwest.
Your partner, tell us a little bit about who you're roping with and how that partnership came about.
Well, I was 13. I wasn't so sure if I was getting in, and so I went to the Denver qualifier, and it was the last day of the books for the circuit finals. So I was talking to Brandon Beers, and he said he wasn't so sure if he was going or not. So I asked him there, and he said I don't think I'm gonna go. So I looked at the standings, and I see Quaid was down there, and I heard two other healers weren't going. So I asked him if he wanted to rope, and he said yeah. We weren't so sure if we were both getting in, so it was kind of just a up in the air deal at the moment. And when we got the callbacks, and I seen we were both down, and we were both pretty excited to go over there. And when I got up there, I never really roped with them. I seen him around quite a bit. I know him and his brothers pretty well, and I just roped with them at the jackpots and stuff, but we'd never just practiced or even entered a rodeo together. And so we went to the circuit finals, and I drove from Arizona back up there, and I took a chance, and he took a chance, and unfortunately it worked out so good that here we are today. We're headed to Florida, and it's pretty exciting actually. This year I was able to go to the finals last year in Yakima also with Brett Phelan, and right before we went out there last year, I lost my good horse, and so I flew back out there, and I borrowed a horse, and I didn't have much luck back there last year, and so this year I kind of looked at it a little different. I kind of wanted to take my own horse back there, and so I'm really excited about this year, and going with a young kid that's never been there. I'm kind of a touch nervous, but I think he's roped enough and been around enough that I think we should be fine. So I went out there with a veteran last year, and I didn't do my job, so I shouldn't even worry about anybody else.
Roping and steer wrestling is one of the sports where you do have another person that really has an extreme part in the outcome of how you rope. Is that a tough balance?
You know, in certain cases, yes. You know, if you could communicate with your partner, that's the biggest thing. But if there's no communication, it's pretty tough on a guy sometimes. Like, especially for me, like, I'm all about my partner because I want to win. And if I'm doing something wrong, I want to know. But sometimes that's not the case, you know, and then your partners split up and, you know, you start a new partnership. And, you know, some work better than others.
Seems like the matchup that you had in Yakima worked well, and you guys are heading to Florida. Take us back a little bit, if you would, and give our listeners a little refresher of the 3 days down in Yakima and how that worked for you guys.
Oh.
Were your steers good?
Yes, our steers were great. You know, that first day we were just, you know, I was just kind of getting the feel of everything, so we just kind of caught our first one. We ended up placing, I think, maybe last hole, and then our second steer was really just, you know, just right up, about just as good as our first one. We just got by him, and our last one, and we were coming back third, and we didn't know if I knew we had a chance, but I wasn't so sure. I knew if I rode out of the arena winning the deal that I was going to have a chance, and I was sure enough. We went 4-7, and we were winning the rodeo. I said it's all we could do at the moment. And I said and the rest is just really up to the rest of the guys if we're going to get lucky and be able to go. So
it worked out all right.
Yes, it worked great. It worked super great.
So you have a week until you head. And, well, I guess it's the 13th, and I think the circuit finals start on the 21st, and you're bringing your own horse, so that's going to be a good 2-day trek from Texas to Florida?
No, I think I looked at it the other day, and it said only 16 hours, and it's a full day's drive if I leave early enough. So I figured if we left Tuesday afternoon, we'd get there late, sometimes early Wednesday morning.
Okay.
Check
in and get situated with your horses and stalls and everything.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, looking at how things went for you last year, what do you think you're going to do differently going to Florida this year that you did last year?
Well, just like I said, you know, I borrowed a horse last year, and I'm just way more confident this year taking my own horse back there. And just the confidence level is different.
Share with our listeners, you know, what's up for grabs if you end up winning. I mean, you guys can win a ton of money. That money still counts this year, as far as I know, for your PRCA standings, correct?
Yes. You know, I was pretty excited about it getting into the deal because I didn't get into San Antonio or Houston or the American, so it was my one big chance to have to win a big chunk of money. And if I get real lucky, I might have a chance to win a voucher for a Dodge truck, so that would even help me better.
If you had a great run in January, I'm going to see it carry through. At least I sure hope. We'll be rooting for you, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
One last question before we let you get on your way, because I know you're busy. I just have a couple fun questions. Tell us, as far as, like, you travel to rodeos all over the country, obviously. But if you were to come back to the Columbia River Circuit, what's your favorite rodeo in our circuit?
My favorite rodeo, Sisters, Oregon.
Sisters. Ooh, it was cold there this year.
Yes. No, it sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's cold. I mean, you can still get to wear a felt hat. You still get to see snow sometimes.
It does have a beautiful backdrop.
Yes, and they give cool buckles, and there's about 3 other rodeos a guy can go to that week, and it's just a good time of the year. I like that time of the year right before Reno, before everything gets started, and if you win, you kind of got a good start going to Reno, and everybody's pretty excited, and it's a pretty good feeling that time of year.
For ropers and traveling down the road with your horses and your partners, and it's a trek no matter where you go. When you're looking at rodeos, outside the money, What's important to you when you go to a rodeo and when you interact?
Just to get to see all my peers is really the coolest thing, and just really being able just to compete with the best guys in the world. Honestly, I'm just real lucky and fortunate I'm able to do this because most of my friends only get to do it for a little while, and they have to go get a job or raise a family or something like that. And I'm just really fortunate that I get to go rodeoing and just kind of do whatever I want. Just pretty quick.
Okay, well, before we let you go, we talked about your roping partner. Let's talk about your horse. Tell us a little bit about the horse you're taking to Florida.
Well, I'm really undecided. I got Mary and Jerry with me. I just bought Jerry back in the fall from my friend Jeff Flanagan. He lives over there in Idaho, and I'm still undecided. I haven't made up my mind yet. I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to practice one more time before I leave, and whoever feels the best right there, I'm going to put in the trailer and head to Florida.
So they're in their final trial, and they don't even know it.
Yeah, no, they're both. I trust them 100% both ways, and I'm just gonna put it in the Lord's hand and see where He takes me.
I think that's the best thing you can do. Usually works out best anyway.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, Brooks, I sure appreciate your time today. I know you got a lot of things on your plate, and I just really thank you for sharing with our listeners a little bit about you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I sure appreciate the phone call.
Well, Brooks, we appreciate you taking the phone call from us, and that was a great visit with him. I really enjoyed getting to know Brooks a little bit more. He is your 2019 Columbia River Circuit Team Roping Header Average winner, and he is on his way to Kissimmee to try and put a national title behind his name this year. Hope he does well. Hope all of our Cowboys and Cowgirls do well. Stay tuned on our social media pages on Facebook and Instagram. We'll be bringing you updates as we receive them. And until then, we will see you down the rodeo road.